Good game, Nikki. Second half, defensive aggressiveness and just deflections and things like that seemed to get better. What was the biggest factor there?
I think it was just really focused. I thought when you don't have any film on an opponent, they obviously had at least 2 exhibition box scores and 1 film. They really surprised us with their starting lineup, to be honest. And I thought, they were bigger, and we weren't doing a good job getting to the midline and really showing to the help side as well in the first half. And Jacob did such a good job of getting in space because we didn't congest. So the second half was really about, hey, you guys are going to have to communicate because you're at the other end of the floor from us, and we've got to get on the midline, and you got to hold each other accountable. So I thought we did a better job. I thought our ball screen defense was significantly better than it was against Texas State. And so, a lot of the shots they got down the lane were contested. They were scrappy. I mean, I think there were plays early where we defended pretty well, and we'd have our hands on the ball, and then their guards would come in and rip it out of our hands. And so, we just did a better job of controlling the defensive boards and getting in transition.
All right, Jerry.
Nikki, in the first half, it looked like they were kind of doing what Texas State did, congesting the lane. How did y'all kind of work around that and get them more involved in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, some of it, to be honest, was transition. When you can rebound and run, that helps. And I think once we took the lead and then they tried to switch to some zone, we weren't necessarily pretty, but we took care of it against the zone. And, punch some gaps, because as they got spread out, then we had the ability to do that. They started a bigger lineup. They switched ball screens. So, we talk about our players really learning to understand what teams are doing against our ball screens. We saw basically a drop and under the other night. Today, we saw a lot of switching. We got to get better. I mean, we just got to get better against that switch of handling it, bouncing the ball back, and posting up guards in that scenario. And then they came to help side. They came to double pretty quickly. And so just making good reads, out of the double team. Do we play up through it early and make a quick move, or do we kick it and repost?
Chad?
You can go from a -5 rebounding margin to a +5 at the end of the game. Is that attributable to their personnel and scouting them as well, or is that more of like an effort thing?
I think it came down to just really, I thought we started with good energy. I just thought we weren't on the midline. We weren't, finishing plays at the rim. And so, they obviously shot some threes. When you take 17 threes and you go 1 for 17, there's going to be some long rebounds. So you got to be scrappy. You got to pursue the ball off the rim. But I think, what we did a good job of tonight was, even though we weren't great in the second quarter, we turned a 14-point lead into an 18-point lead into a 25-point lead, and we just never let them back in because we took care of the basketball for the most part, and we defended.
Andrew?
Yeah, Coach, first 2 games, 25 3-point field goals taken in each of them. I was just curious if you had a vision of what your perfect game would be in terms of how many 3-point attempts you want to see taken, and what percentage you'd like to see the team hover around as you progress this season.
Yeah, I think anything 35% and up, is what we should shoot for. That's shooting over 50% for your effective field goal percentage. I don't want it to be a percentage of our shots, because I think it depends on what's the defense doing, and because they collapsed and guarded Liz and Queen, Jamie got us going early, making some threes, and we have to do that. If we're going to be a good basketball team, we have to be a balanced basketball team. And so, our ability to make those shots is going to make it easier for Liz to get shots, for Queen to get shots, because if they're going to double, they're going to pay, and they're not going to pay 2x2, they're going to pay 3x3. So, it's going to depend on the opponent and how they guard us, how many we make. But I think anything above 35% is where we're shooting for.
Hawk?
Can you talk a little bit about what JV was able to do, though? Like you said, she got the shots outside, but she was making them. We kind of saw the kind of shooter today she is.
Yeah, I mean, she's, and she needed the lid to come off because she, shot it well in the first exhibition game, but hasn't the last two. I thought for the most part of her 11 threes, I like 9 of them, a couple of them were rushed late in the shot clock. But when we touch the paint and kick it out like we did in transition, I think it was Jordan who drove it in there and kicked it to her, to open the game up in the third quarter. Those are layups for her, in fact, she's probably going to shoot a higher percentage on those than she is, sometimes in the lane. So, she just keeps the defense stretched, and she's so unassuming. She never gets too high. She never gets too low. You're not going to see a ton of emotion from her. And, she's just going to keep on keeping on.
All right, last question for Coach from Jerry.
Nikki, Caitlyn Bickel, is that just kind of her game? I mean, because she gave you a little bit of everything: 7 points, 8 rebounds, 3 or 4 takes. I mean, is that just her game?
Yeah, I mean, she's just such a good utility player. She stays within the framework of what she's good at. Is not going to take bad shots. No, she's not the first option on the floor and is fine not being the first option. Is going to fire the team up, taking a charge. She's going to battle. She's physical. Tell me that wasn't a career high in minutes for her. That might have been 3 games last year for her. And we needed her. We needed her energy. Queen is an incredibly good player. But we need the energy that Caitlyn brings, the defensive. She's like a quarterback, like when we're on defense, as much as Queen is a shot blocker, Kate is an orchestrator. She's back there telling people when to switch and where she's at and help side. And she's just such an amazing communicator, that she lifts everybody. People listen to her because she speaks so effectively and loudly.
Sure. Caitlyn, you had a well-rounded game tonight. You took 3 charges, you had 8 boards, 7 points, a couple blocks, 3 assists. I was just curious, how would you describe the way that you play the game of basketball?
I think just trying to be a leader out there. I think overall, I know the game really, really well. I know what we're running. I know what we're supposed to be doing on defense, things like that. And I feel like I just always want to be the glue player. I feel like I just want things looking smooth out there. I want us performing at our best. So glue player, I guess, is just how I would describe how I play.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Chad.
Yeah, Jamie, a couple weeks ago, you told me that you were kind of fighting through a preseason slump, shooting wise. Do you feel like you started to break out of that tonight?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
How did it feel just being able to hit a few and see it go in?
Yeah.
Oh, how did it feel? Feels good. I'm humble, so I don't really have much to say.
No. Let me speak on Jamie's behalf. We're in our little practice yesterday, and every time Jamie caught this ball when we were running offense, she passed it. I looked at this girl crazy. I said, "Shoot the ball," and my girl came out and shot the ball today. So props to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, stop being humble.
All right, Jerry.
Caitlyn, was there anything specific that y'all changed defensively? They only scored 23 points in the second half.
We didn't change anything. It's just giving more effort. There was so many times on Tuesday that we just didn't give our full effort. We know how good we can be. We practice defense every single practice. We never take like a day off from defense. And I think Tuesday, we just let go of that, and we can't do that. We know that we need to be a great defensive team in order to beat great teams. And I think tonight that just showed that we can do that. If we talk, our biggest 2 things from Tuesday were just getting in help, getting on midline, talking, like doing everything that we do every single day in a game, translating that to a game. So I don't think we did anything different. I think we just did what we were supposed to do correctly.
Are you bruised after every game like that?
I am in so much pain. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm so glad we have an off day tomorrow because I'm going to be laying in bed all day.
You're not going to class?
No, I'm going to class.
All right, Hawk.
Just do it, man.
Jamie, right before halftime, you get a three, but talk about the three coming out of the second half, when you guys got on a run and you kind of put it away. Coach was talking about that play, she said you should hit that one every time.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember.
It's the one when Jordan drove and then kicked it out to you.
Kick out.
Oh,
6 of those, I feel like.
yeah, it
There's
was,
so many.
yeah, I don't think I remember that.
Well, let me ask you this, how important was it though to put some separation? The other night, you guys, you played and you stayed ahead, but you never put separation. How important was that? for you guys?
I think it was very important because the crowd was hyping up the team a lot, and the crowd was a big factor today for them. So I think us putting separation in the score helped out, calm the crowd so we can hear our coach more, call out plays and stuff like that.